In the heart of a mighty kingdom, where power, tradition, and pride ruled above all else, there lived a king whose authority was absolute and unquestioned. He was feared by enemies and respected by allies, a man who believed that loyalty to the crown was more important than blood itself. But behind the grand palace walls lay a story of heartbreak, a tale of a father and a son torn apart by ambition, misunderstanding, and the crushing weight of royal expectations. This is the tragic story of the king who banished his own son. The prince, his only heir, was once the pride of the kingdom. From a young age, he showed courage, intelligence, and a deep sense of justice that made the people love him. Unlike his father, the prince believed that a ruler should serve the people, not rule over them with fear. He would often walk among the common folk, listening to their struggles and promising change. While the people saw him as a future hope, the king began to see him as a threat. Tensions grew when the prince openly disagreed with the king's harsh policies. He spoke against heavy taxes, cruel punishments, and unnecessary wars. To the king, this was not just disobedience, it was betrayal. The court became divided, with some supporting the prince's vision of compassion, while others remained loyal to the king's iron rule. Rumors spread that the prince was trying to weaken the throne, and these whispers slowly poisoned the king's mind. One fateful day, a heated argument erupted in the royal court. The prince stood firm, challenging his father in front of nobles and advisors, declaring that the kingdom deserved better. The king, blinded by rage and wounded pride, saw this as the ultimate act of disrespect. In that moment, he made a decision that would change both their lives forever. With a voice cold as steel, the king declared his son a traitor and ordered his immediate exile. The court fell silent. No one dared to speak. The prince, heartbroken but dignified, did not beg for forgiveness. Instead, he looked into his father's eyes, hoping to see even a trace of love, but there was none. Without another word, he turned away from the only home he had ever known. As he walked out of the palace gates, the people wept, for they knew they were losing not just a prince, but their future king. Years passed, and the kingdom began to suffer. Without the prince's compassion, the king's rule grew harsher. Rebellions sparked, trust faded, and the once great kingdom started to crumble under the weight of fear and injustice. Meanwhile, the exiled prince wandered distant lands, gaining wisdom, strength, and allies who believed in his vision of a better world. Yet despite everything, his heart still carried the pain of rejection and the longing for his father's acceptance. As the king grew older, his strength faded, but his regrets only grew stronger. The empty throne beside him became a constant reminder of the son he had cast away. Late at night, he would whisper into the silence, questioning whether his decision had been driven by duty, or by his own pride. The realization came too late. In protecting his crown, he had lost his family. In his final days, the king sent messengers across the lands, searching for the prince. But the world was vast, and time was no longer on his side. Some say the prince returned too late, arriving only to stand before his father's lifeless body. Others believe he never returned at all, choosing instead to build a new destiny far from the pain of the past. But one truth remains undeniable. This was not just a story of power, but of a broken bond between a father and a son. A reminder that sometimes the greatest battles are not fought on the battlefield, but within the human heart. And in the end, the king who had everything lost the one thing that truly mattered: love.